The night started like any other, but it quickly spiraled into something I never expected. My husband's nephew, who I had always thought of as family, ended up crossing a line that changed everything. I'll tell you what happened, but let me start from the beginning. It was a family gathering, loud laughter, good food, and everyone in high spirits. My husband's nephew, Jack, who's just a few years younger than me, was visiting after a long time. Jack had always been the playful and charming type, the one who brought energy into every room he entered. That evening, he seemed particularly eager to spend time with me, and my husband, trusting him completely, encouraged it. At first, I didn't think much of it. Jack was family after all. But as the night went on, his behaviour started to feel off. He'd linger too long during conversations, his compliments felt oddly personal, and there was an energy that made me uneasy. I brushed it off, not wanting to overthink. But I couldn't have predicted what would come next. Jack asked if I wanted to play a new card game he'd learned. It seemed innocent enough. My husband even encouraged me, saying, "Go have fun, he's just a kid at heart." So I agreed, not realising how wrong things would go. What started as a simple game turned into a night I wish I could forget. Let me tell you how it unfolded and why I'm still struggling to process it all. The game began light-heartedly. We laughed, joked, and shared funny stories. But then Jack started introducing strange rules to the game, rules that didn't make sense. At first I thought he was being playful, trying to make the game more fun. But the rules began to feel oddly personal. For example, he said, "If you lose this round, you have to tell me something you've never told anyone before." I laughed it off and played along, thinking it was just harmless fun. But then he said, "If I win, you owe me a secret." There was something in his tone, playful, but with an edge that made my stomach tighten. As the game continued, Jack's questions grew more invasive. He asked about my relationships, my dreams, and even things about my husband. It felt like he was peeling back layers of my life that he had no business touching. I tried to steer the conversation back to lighter topics, but he kept pushing. When I hesitated, he'd laugh and say, "Come on, it's just a game." But his eyes told a different story. They were studying me, waiting for something. I started to feel trapped, but I didn't want to make a scene or cause drama in the family. I told myself it was just my imagination, that I was overreacting. But then Jack did something that crossed every line I thought existed. I'll tell you exactly what happened, but be warned, it's not easy to hear. Jack's game took a turn when he suggested a dare. He leaned in closer and said, "If you're brave enough, let's take this outside." His tone was half joking, but there was something unnerving about the way he said it. My instincts screamed at me to decline, but I didn't want to create unnecessary drama. We stepped outside, and that's when Jack crossed the line. He made an inappropriate comment that left no room for misinterpretation. I froze. For a moment, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was as if the air had been sucked out of the night. When I confronted him, he laughed it off, saying, "Relax, it's just a joke. You're taking it too seriously." But it wasn't a joke. His words, his tone, the look in his eyes, they all betrayed his real intentions. I walked away immediately, my heart racing and my hands shaking. Back inside, I avoided Jack for the rest of the evening. I felt a mix of anger, confusion, and betrayal. How could someone so close to my family, someone I trusted, behave this way? I spent the rest of the night replaying everything in my head, wondering if I had somehow given the wrong impression or missed earlier signs. But the more I thought about it, the clearer it became. Jack knew exactly what he was doing. I didn't sleep at all that night. My mind raced with questions. Should I tell my husband? Would he believe me? Would it destroy the family? I thought about confronting Jack again, but the idea of facing him made me feel sick. I felt trapped in my own home, in my own family. The next morning I looked in the mirror and decided that I couldn't let this fester. Staying silent would only give Jack more power. I had to speak up, even if it meant risking the family's peace. But I also knew I needed to approach this carefully. I rehearsed what I would say, choosing my words carefully to convey exactly what had happened. When I finally told my husband, his reaction took me by surprise. And what happened after that? Well, it's something I'll never forget. The next day I told my husband everything. At first he was shocked and couldn't believe it. Jack had always been the golden boy of the family. But as I shared every detail, my husband's shock turned into anger. He immediately confronted Jack, who tried to deny everything. But my husband stood by me, making it clear that such behavior was unacceptable. Jack's family tried to mediate, but my husband remained firm. He told them that respect and boundaries come first, even within family. It wasn't easy, but we knew we had to take a stand, not just for ourselves, but to set an example for others in the family. This experience taught me the importance of trusting your instincts and setting boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable. It's easy to dismiss red flags, especially when they come from someone close to you, but staying silent only allows the behavior to continue. After the confrontation, there was an undeniable tension in the family. Jack's behavior had caused a rift that couldn't be ignored. Some family members sided with us, understanding the gravity of the situation, while others tried to downplay it, urging us to move on for the sake of harmony. But my husband and I stood our ground. We knew that brushing this under the rug would only enable Jack's behavior and potentially put others at risk. To heal, I sought therapy to process the trauma and confusion. My therapist helped me understand that I wasn't to blame and that speaking out was the right decision, no matter how difficult it felt. My husband attended a few sessions with me, which strengthened our bond and helped us navigate the complexities of family politics together. We implemented firm boundaries. Jack was no longer welcome in our home, and we made it clear to the family that our decision was final. It wasn't about punishment. It was about protecting our peace and ensuring that such behavior was not tolerated. I also learned the importance of self-advocacy. For too long, I had worried about being too sensitive or causing drama. But this experience taught me that my feelings and boundaries are valid, and it's okay to demand respect, even from those closest to us. The support I received from my husband and a few close friends was invaluable. They reminded me that I wasn't alone and that my voice mattered. Their encouragement gave me the strength to stand firm, even when it felt like the odds were against me. To anyone watching this, know that it's okay to speak up, even when it feels impossible. Your feelings are valid, and you deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. It's never just a joke when it crosses your boundaries. Trust your instincts and don't be afraid to take action. If you've ever found yourself in a similar situation, know that you're not alone. Speak up, set boundaries, and don't let anyone make you feel small or powerless. And here's what I want you to do next. Share this video with someone who might need to hear this message. You never know who could be struggling silently. Let's create a space where no one feels afraid to stand up for themselves. Additionally, consider sharing your own story in the comments if you're comfortable. Your experience might inspire or help someone who's going through something similar. Together we can build a community of support and understanding.